I took a leap of faith over 8 years and a half now, so it has been close to a decade, and moved to Kuwait back in 2016.
So we know how to read Arabic, but we do not really understand it, and it's quite like a challenge for us as well.
If you're a woman in technology, or a woman who's aspiring to, make a mark in the technology field, is to have agility and to have resilience and to do constant learning, so you can rapidly develop your skills to transition careers if needed. As the market demands.
It's just most recently I've realized that how much important it is and how many doors of opportunities it can open for me, that creating content. Hello everyone, my name is Bilal Asif. I am the founder and CEO of Connect Genie AI. Today we have started these podcast episodes in which we are inviting top tier professionals from the industry to talk about their professional journey. The intention here is to learn from their journey and from the aspect of personal branding, how important it is, and so that professionals can leverage their personal brand to get the utmost success in their career. I think there is no better way other than discussing these things with the professionals who've already made their mark in their careers. So we have today with us Mercedes Vázquez. Mercedes is well known for her contributions in cybersecurity and her extensive work in nationwide women's empowerment initiatives, which includes 50 Women in Cybersecurity program in Kuwait. She is currently serving as a general manager at EDK Holding, which is an innovative digital transformation company. I would say that she is a very highly accomplished business and technology executive. She has been awarded with Technology Entrepreneur of the Year in 2024 by Powerless Middle East Awards. Mercedes is also part of Kuwait's Cyber First program, which is a strategic program initiative to secure digital future of Kuwait. Previously, she has also been part of Microsoft and served as Generalist Territory Manager for SMBs. Based on what I've told you guys so far, we can all agree that we are dealing with a professional here who drives innovation and growth. So without a further ado, Mercedes, how are you doing today?
I'm very delighted to be with you, Bilal, today. It's such a great pleasure to be on your podcast. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming and taking the time to be at our podcast. I'm sure that I did try my best to introduce you, but you are a very highly accomplished and successful professional woman. I would really request that if you can give a brief introduction about yourself, talk about a little bit from your journey from where you begin and where you are today.
Thank you. So your introduction has been great. As the audience may tell, my name is originally from Spain. I'm originally from Spain in Europe. And I took a leap of faith over 8 years and a half now, so it has been close to a decade, and moved to Kuwait back in 2016. Frankly speaking, Kuwait has given me a lot in terms of opportunities. Here is where I have developed most of my professional career. I started out originally in the Ecommerce space. So a retail group back then by the end of 2015 gave me the opportunity to move to Kuwait with their project to launch their e-commerce globally. So building it globally launching it locally from Kuwait to the world. So that was sort of a pioneering thing to be part of that amazing team. It was called Riva. And I'm very grateful. Frankly speaking, it was one of the first e-commerce in the GCC region. So as you can imagine, back in 2016, the commerce infrastructure and the digital infrastructure at large was not really as developed as it is nowadays, which is more of a utility, right? So before it was more of a commodity. That was really great. And after that, I moved into another role as business development manager with a very prominent member of Kuwait's ruling royal family, Highness Sheikh Intisar Salim Al Sabah. After that, I had the honor of working at one of the largest technology companies in the world, as you have mentioned in the introduction. And I am currently the general manager at ESK Holding. We operate between Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and we mainly specialize in US-based technology, cybersecurity, responsible AI. And one of my main passions, I believe, if we want to create prosperity at large, is education. Every sort of change, every sort of transformation starts with education. And I firmly believe that education creates prosperity and generational prosperity. And we also conduct nationwide upskilling and reskilling initiatives, as you have rightly mentioned in the introduction.
Understood. Thank you. So you started from Spain, and then from Spain you went to Middle East. Like, what was the reason that you chose Middle East as your destination, and why specifically Kuwait?
Well, the funny thing here is that I did not choose Kuwait. It sort of chose me, right? So back in 2015, I had finished my master's in Madrid, Spain, and I had some e-commerce experience in Madrid as well since 2013. And basically, I'm very active on LinkedIn, which is a platform that I really use and I highly recommend. And I used to post articles of opinion and a little bit of my public work at that time, which, whatever could be posted. So one day one recruiter found me, it was Mariam, and she basically contacted me with the opportunity to come to Kuwait to work on that e-commerce that I was previously referring to. And yes, I'm very grateful for that opportunity. It was, I just took that leap of faith and, made the move to another continent. I did not know what to expect. I didn't have any sort of expectations, frankly speaking, but it has been close to a decade now.
So basically, moving to Kuwait, I mean, from Spain, there must have been a barrier of language as well. So did you encounter that in your in your transition as well?
Well, so what really stood out to me the most is the love and respect and appreciation that everyone in Kuwait has for Spain. I felt very, very welcome since the beginning in this amazing country. And as you know, the south of Spain used to be Al-Andalus for over close to 800 years, right? So there are many similar words. I can't recall if it's over 2,000 or 3,000 words, so please don't quote me on that. Really, I'm not an expert in linguistics. But there are, I think it's over 2,000 words with a similar common root between Arabic and Spanish. Of course, the common language here in business is English, and I tried my best to try to at least gather different sort of dialects.
Adapt to it.
But I don't really, I'm not really fluent, but at least I can differentiate accents in Arabic, which is a very rich language.
So obviously you've been there for such a long time. I believe that now you must be comfortable at least in communicating with others, right?
Well, absolutely, and everyone can communicate in any language. It's very easy.
No, actually, like we are in Pakistan and we are Muslims, and still we know how to read Arabic, but we do not really understand it, and it's quite like a challenge for us as well. So anyhow, so when you talk about e-commerce, Mercedes, then what was your specialty in this e-commerce domain? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, so I started out back in 2016 when I moved to Kuwait as an e-commerce product manager, and then became e-commerce manager, project manager. And basically I was part of launching and building it from scratch. It was a very exciting role. As I said, it was something pioneer, and that led to some strategic initiatives, and that was very exciting. But what I like also about my journey is the fact that, and this is perhaps a message that I can share with the audience, is that it has not been static, right? As you know, the role of technology is rapidly evolving, and so are the needs. And I believe one of the best strengths or any sort of skills that you can develop as a professional, especially if you're a woman in technology, or a woman who's aspiring to, make a mark in the technology field, is to have agility and to have resilience and to do constant learning, so you can rapidly develop your skills to transition careers if needed, as the market demands.
Understood. And you also mentioned that you participated in the business development management role for the royal family of Kuwait, right? So then moving from that, from the business development domain to the tech, what was the motivation behind that? Like, why did you?
I was already in tech since my first e-commerce role back in Spain was in 2012. So I was always very, very passionate about that. And basically, technology is an industry which is the fabric, the essential fabric for every sort of thing that is happening nowadays and that will happen in the future. And so driving human-centric impact through technology really excites me, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And again, it's an opportunity to help businesses, persons, all sort of scales in reality to be able to remain resilient, to remain collaborative, to basically for any sort of business or person to run nowadays. So to me, that's the most exciting thing about technology, the transformative role it can have and how it can empower and uplift and help persons and businesses of all sort of scales and sizes, leaving no one behind.
Understood. So you've been quite at high profile positions as for your profile that I've seen from LinkedIn, and you've discussed it over yourself as well. So which position have you enjoyed the most, and what was the reason behind that?
Well, every sort of step in my career has been rewarding, and it's something that I'm thankful for. Every sort of step, I believe in life in general, I'm not talking only about my career, takes you to wherever you are meant to be, or to where you have to evolve, or you have to grow and learn, as time moves. I can't really pick one. I have to say I quite enjoy where I am at right now. And I wanted to have a larger impact, and I knew I could have a larger impact. And so transitioning from the corporate world to becoming a techpreneur has been quite fulfilling nowadays, and I'm really happy to, work on something that I'm very passionate about, and to keep on doing that. Frankly speaking, I believe in life, if you want to be successful in anything, you have to be passionate about it, because we spend such a large amount of time, energy, everything, whatever you may want to say, right, into our careers, which sometimes become part of our personal life. And that, of course, takes a lot of sacrifices and sometimes compromises, right, especially as women. So I have to say, just enjoy every single moment and take all the learnings along the way.
So talking from a woman's perspective in tech, right? And as you mentioned that you have to have sacrifice, and that is understandable. I mean, that's not just anything in Kuwait. I think that's overall, because women and I'm from South Asia, so I can speak from my mother is also a working woman. She has to make a lot of sacrifices for a woman, with their family and work balance and all that. So what kind of sacrifices that you think that you made, and how did you try to make the work-life balance?
Well, a lot. Imagine being 23 and moving to a different continent.
Yeah.
That I had never been to before. Frankly speaking, I believe life is a navigation, and you just have to develop the skills to navigate accordingly. As I said, it's a matter of priorities, right? I can't really advise anyone, because it's all about what is important to you. And that's something that everyone has to figure out, right? What is important in your life, and how do you divide between your personal life and your career, and what sort of interconnection do you have in both? I haven't been able to find that striking balance, let's say, right? Because it's still a journey. I'm still learning along the way, and that's fun. I admit that. There is always something to learn, and that's why I like to cultivate that growth mindset. But of course, it has been yes, a lot of sacrifices behind, a lot of sleepless nights, lots of efforts, lots of things that sometimes go unnoticed, right? Because when sometimes people tend to look at the outcomes, right? But we are not.
They don't realize the sacrifices that went behind them.
Yeah, but like what I try to think is that we are not a position, like, or I try to think a position does not define me, right? It's about how much value we are here to add value to any sort of role that we carry out throughout our lives, wherever, if it's personal or professional. So keeping that in mind is important, and just learning along the way.
Understood. So you also have been working a lot to empower women, like the program that we talked about in your introduction. So can you I only knew the program. I would like to hear from you. What are these program, and any specific how specifically you participated in these programs, and what impact did they bring? These programs, your contributions, and the overall efforts.
So, which program in particular are you referring to? The
50 women in cybersecurity program, right? Like, and if there are other programs that you've also been part of, if you can, talk about them, how you participated, if you were the lead, and how did it create an impact for women specifically in tech?
Absolutely. So thank you for highlighting the 50 Women in Cybersecurity program. And it's great to see that the impact transcends borders all the way to Pakistan, where you are based. That was something very, very special. So I had applied to a grant at the US Department of State through the US Embassy in Kuwait. And with an idea, right? So it was a statement of interest, a very rigorous one, which I had created with the idea of launching a program titled 50 Women in Cybersecurity in Kuwait. The grant was awarded by the US Department of State through the US Embassy in Kuwait. It was a public affairs grant in 2023, which I am very, very grateful, I must say, to the State Department and everyone at the US Embassy for such an opportunity to, have an impact in cybersecurity job creation and in the resilience of digital infrastructure at large in Kuwait, and also in empowering Kuwait's human capital, in particular women, in cybersecurity. The initiative was launched in October 2023. It was very successful. We had 50 women from all walks of life in Kuwait representing public and private sector joining the initiative after an application process through an open registration link. And we basically contributed to upskill over 23 Kuwaiti government entities, banking employees, oil and gas employees, also entrepreneurs and students. It was fantastic. And it all happened again, as I said, thanks to the awarded grant of the US Department of State through the US Embassy in Kuwait. It was a public affairs grant. We had a great alignment as well with the strategic and visionary government of the state of Kuwait and their National Center for Cybersecurity. And then to have a larger impact, we collaborated with the private sector who joined forces, who share a like-minded vision when it comes to the alignment with Kuwait's Vision 2035 in terms of developing human capital, enabling global position, enabling world-class education, and basically supporting women in all aspects of the economic fabric. So with that, we were very honored to have the National Bank of Kuwait as a platinum sponsor, Zain, which is one of the largest telcos in the region, as telco exclusive sponsor, and Kinet, which is the main payment enabler in the state of Kuwait, as called hackathon sponsor in that initiative. And then we had academia as well, collaborating with us. So we were hosted by the American University of Kuwait. All the expertise was by amazing American experts who are working at the DoD. And we were very privileged to have that opportunity, and the impact, I believe, has been, it's remarkable, right? Because even you are in Pakistan and you got to know about the initiative. So that really is very fulfilling.
So is this program still ongoing? Like still being sponsored by US Department of State and the other sponsors that you mentioned, or like does it have a specific cohort sessions, and how does this work?
It was a cohort that was launched in October 2023.
Okay. So and one cohort is for how many? What is the span of the cohort? How many months or weeks does it
It
span
lasted
for?
for approx 1 month entirely.
1 month. 1 month, right? Okay. So this is specifically for women in Kuwait. Only they can participate in that, or is it an international kind of situation where others women from other countries can also participate?
No, it was for Kuwait residents, and we had Kuwaiti women, and then we had women in Kuwait as well who were provided with the opportunity to be part of the initiative.
Understood. And so this is the only. I think that this is not the only program that you have, initiated at your end. You have also been. I think you have also participated in other programs or initiated other programs. Are there others that you can let us know about?
Yes, absolutely. So something very exciting and humbling to me was to be part of the Global Women in Leadership program at Georgetown University with Kiyadat in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It was a strategic program born during the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's presidency of the G20 in 2020. And I was very honored to be part of one of the cohorts in 2022. It was a fantastic program. I had the honor of being part of it with 179 ladies from 17 G20 nations. And I was representing my nation, Spain, to be part of that program. And frankly speaking, I always repeat it, like I'm very grateful to Kiyadat and the kingdom and the kingdom itself for allowing me to be part of such an essential program that really helped me in terms of skills in my career, and to also develop a global sorority, right, with amazing professionals, some of whom I'm still in touch today.
Sure. I mean, being a woman and achieving this level of success is, I think, it's quite remarkable in its own way. So, very congratulations on that. So, I would like to take the discussion a little bit towards the personal branding, right? So, I'm not sure that if you would agree to this, but a lot of people, including myself, we don't really realize about the aspect of personal branding, that how much important it is in our career. If I talk about just myself, right? So when I graduated in 2013, I got a job right after graduation. I would hardly the hardly personal branding activity that I would do would just update my LinkedIn profile. I would not create any content, nothing like that. It's just most recently I have realized that how much important it is and how many doors of opportunities it can open for me, that creating content. So in your case, what do you think, that were you able to realize this aspect in your of professional career initially, or were you also able to were you also getting the hang of it at a later time?
Well, so I think my best success element was my own work, which spoke for itself, perhaps. When it comes to LinkedIn, yes, I do use LinkedIn a lot. As I said, I'm very active on it. It's a platform that I have been cultivating for as long as I was doing my master's, probably, or even prior to that. So it has been many, many years of building meaningful relations through that platform. And I don't think, like, as a woman in technology, I don't think your success is depending on having a personal brand or not, but rather on your resilience, your determination, your impact that is able to transcend perhaps borders, countries, industries, right? That's something wonderful, and that can elevate and uplift any sort of professional. In the beginning of my career, I did not really focus much on being public or using LinkedIn to post whatever I was doing because of multiple reasons. And again, what you may see on LinkedIn is just 1% of whatever is going on, right? We should always keep in mind that we always post what we want people to see, and that is something very public. And again, that's just an outcome of a process, of a journey, of efforts, of determination, of sacrifices, right?
Yeah. So, but still, the thing is that as you mentioned that you were approached by a recruiter. That recruiter did approach to you because of the articles, I believe, that you were posting. I mean, your work at your experience level speaks for itself, no doubt. But the articles and the content that you were producing was also helping you, project yourself as a successful, accomplished woman, right? So that's all. I think it helps women. So, what advice would you give to women who are just in the beginning of their careers? That how should they take the aspect of personal branding from the beginning? Should they start it from the right after they graduate, or should they wait for a while once they have some experience in their resumes? After that, they should start focusing on this aspect of their professional career.
So let me answer both questions. The first one, I think I was approached because it was a very simple equation. Back in 2015, you could then find a lot of professionals with e-commerce experience in the GCC, and I was based in Europe. E-commerce was developed since many years prior to that, and I think it was a matter of matching the needed skills to the open role that was at that time. Now, when it comes to any advice that I can provide women, well, that's a big responsibility, Bilal, because I believe it's number one, it's a very personal choice, right? Not everyone feels perhaps happy to be exposed on social media, right? Or to even post anything on LinkedIn. It's a choice, and I can't really enforce on any sort of advice. That wouldn't be fair from my end. But what I can say perhaps is just be yourself. No one can be you. Unleash your own power, unleash your own potential, and use your skills in ways that you think can be useful to society, to humanity, to the industry where you are in, or to the country that you are in and you want to serve. That's our potential, and that's our own power that no one can really take away from us, as well as our skills.
Understood. So, but being a woman, right? Do you think that promoting your personal brand is harder as compared to for men in the industry, or do you think it gives women an edge because they are women and people get more biased toward their content? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I never thought about it before you mentioned. I try to be sort of genderless when it comes to that. Like we are all talents. If we're men or if we're women, we're all made in our own unique ways. God has given us unique skills that we nurture and we develop and we work on improving, right, every single day. And so that's our own strength and areas to leverage and to maximize, I believe, regardless of, I don't want to sort of have the approach of the narrative like I'm in an unfair position because I'm a woman. That's not fair because I have had a lot of opportunities. Yes, the reality is, if you look at global statistics, for example, in technology, there is a long way to go. Depending on the data source, they may tell us they may tell you different things, right? It's around 29%, 31% of the global workforce in tech is women. Again, depending on the data source. But part of what I do, again, and that's coming out of my passion, right, is to advocate and to uplift women and to help them, to empower them. And if my story or any of my achievements can even help one single professional to actually think, yes, this is workable. Yes, she moved all the way from Spain in Europe to a different continent and built her career there. If she can make it, I can also make it, and I can make my mark in my industry using my own skills. To me, if I can impact one single person, my journey is sort of fulfilling.
Understood. So I think that, as you mentioned, that it is a personal choice of anyone who wants to, promote themselves or expose themselves publicly or not. And I totally respect that, and I agree with that as well. I even myself was not, into publicly exposing and keep on posting content on LinkedIn myself as well. But the thing is that what I have realized is that people tend to not, post too much content on LinkedIn, because obviously this personal branding, this requires a lot of time investment. You have to, sit and, think about what you have to post, and you have already so much going on in your professional and your, personal life, so it becomes quite hectic in that sense. That is, the reason why I created my product, Connect Genie AI. Right, it's a tool that helps you create content on LinkedIn, create captivating LinkedIn posts, and, engage with others with as much less investment as possible and with greater ease. So I would like to say, ask, I think that with the era of AI, do you think that content creation and personal branding can become more easier?
Well, first of all, congratulations for launching your own AI product.
Thank you.
That's not an easy task. So I really congratulate you for having the determination and the idea of launching something of this scale. And I'm sure you will have a great impact. And I wish you all the success with your
Thank you so much.
With your tool and your product. When it comes to your question, yes, so it's all about how do we use generative AI, right? It can help us. And what I'd like to think is that it can also help us further to develop that creativity, but there shouldn't be a compromise on our perhaps critical thinking and analytical skills or creativity, right?
Understood. So since we're talking, about AI now, may I ask that, any specific AI projects that you are currently, participating in or leading?
Yes, absolutely. So in June, I was part of Kuwait's Cyber First, which was a strategic forum to align with Kuwait's Vision 2035 and to secure a digital future for Kuwait. And I was very honored to address the role of AI in cybersecurity. That was very exciting. And something very exciting as well is that I have recently joined an AI and the Future of Work task force, which is an initiative by Columbia University in New York with the Future Investment Initiative, which is a global non-profit foundation that has the Public Investment Fund of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a founding partner. And so I'm very honored to be part of, a global community of educators and AI experts in this AI and the Future of Work AI in Education task force.
Sure. And how are you foreseeing the impact of AI in Middle East and specifically in Kuwait, since you're mostly, working over there? So how are you seeing the impact of AI over there in terms of economy, on the economy and other aspects?
I think there is an opportunity to be tapped into. As you know, technology is rapidly evolving, and so is AI, and specifically generative AI. So there is still an opportunity to be assessed, quantified in terms of economic impact, I believe, number one. And number two, to further develop.
Understood. All right. So, is there any specific project that or initiative that you are currently part of that you're most excited about? Like, I know that you're doing so many things, but this the most excited project that you want to tell your our audience about.
So when it comes to public activities that I can disclose, so I'm very excited to announce here with you, Bilal. I have a podcast as well, which is called Tapping into the Untapped. It's something that I started in 2022 as a personal project and as a passion project in reality, to build a global conversation on topics that are essential for a more prosperous future, and to also, based on the fact that our story is our legacy and our story can change lives, and it has changed lives, right? So sometimes we're not aware of it. And so that was the purpose of the podcast. And it was very successful. I had an audience in 12 countries. I had global leaders who were part of the conversation from all nations here in Kuwait, Mexico, UAE, Ireland, US. So it was truly global. And it's the only Western female-owned podcast in Kuwait. It was also highlighted on the news on Kuwait TV2, which is a state-owned national TV channel of the state of Kuwait, broadcasted by the Ministry of Information. So I can share with your audience to stay tuned for a season 2 that will be launched very soon.
Well, I can definitely take some advice from you regarding the podcast project that you have mentioned, because I'm also, starting to begin this journey. So let's hope for the best, and I'm definitely going to take some advice from you. So I think that it's been a very great discussion with you. Any last advice that you would like to give to our audience, specifically professionals in general, but specifically women professionals who are trying to pursue success in their career? Any specific advice that can really motivate them and get them up to speed if they're feeling down?
Well, that's a big responsibility. I think what served me in my career is that every single step of the journey is taking you to wherever you are meant to be. So never give up. Have that resilience, develop the resiliency muscle, and just keep on going, because if you cultivate your mind through constant learning and learn to navigate in whatever sort of environment you are in, to me that sort of can help you to propel to advance in your career, as well as it's very important to build a community or build a sorority that can also support you during those times.
Understood. Well, thank you so much, Mercedes, for being at our podcast. It's been a pleasure having this discussion. I really hope that all professionals, and specifically women, can take a lot of inspiration from your journey, from your success, and can start pursuing their goals the way they want to. I hope that you also enjoyed the conversation as well.
Absolutely, Mila. Thank you so much for having me. It has been a pleasure to have this conversation with you. And thank you for allowing me to share a bit of my journey. I hope it was enriching to the audience, and always happy to be on your podcast. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.